Hello and welcome to F1 Now. In this video we're going to be giving you the biggest winners and losers to the British Grand Prix. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so Formula 1 and Silverstone have given us another sensational Grand Prix, and one that has been coined as the greatest of them all this season. And just like that, our first biggest winner's title goes to none other than Lewis Hamilton. So before we get into it, I just want to stroke my ego and remind you guys that in the previous video for the grid prediction, I did say that we might see a surprise back-to-back win for Mercedes, and this time Hamilton taking the top step. And he did just that in the race. For me personally, I had no doubt in my mind after he secured second in quali that he will be the main contender for the race. It was clear that the McLarens and Mercedes had just about similar pace, maybe Mercedes just ahead. And with that, looking back at quali, Lewis had a car that had more understeer in corners and carrying more downforce compared to Russell. But the genius of that route, as we have seen Red Bull do as well, is that it makes for a better race car. But this race alone wasn't just about the raw pace of the cars, but more so the driver. And I have to say, the drivers like Hamilton and Verstappen showed why they are in a league of their own, especially at the last phase of the race when they got rid of the inters. Hamilton showed a masterclass on how to ease the tire to keep it competitive. Now, the main trick here was the fact that in the corners they weren't ringing the engine on lower gears to stabilize the car, but instead they were riding the car into the corners with a higher top speed and higher gear upon entry and just letting it coast by, letting the rears do all the work. The benefits of this is that you are able to save the fronts and not increase the temperatures, resulting in more consistent grip throughout the stint. And that is how Lewis was able to maintain the gap on the last laps to Norris and Verstappen and claim the win. Next, we also have to congratulate Max and Red Bull, because they didn't have the fastest car here, but were able to stay in the mix throughout the race by correctly picking the laps to change tires. And on the last phase, picking the hards really brought Max back close enough to sniff a win. And am I the only one who noticed how mild-mannered Max was with his wheel-to-wheel racing in this race? Now, next up is the mighty Hulkenberg. He didn't just get the job done in quali, but also stuck it out in the race to come in 6th. I think it's time we gave him his flowers for being such an exceptional driver. Hopefully Audi can give him a better car next year. Now, Alex Albon in his Williams, as well as Yuki in the RB, were also able to stick it out and bag the final points positions. Finally, how can we forget to mention Aston Martin? I did say in the grid prediction that they will be back in good form here because their car's rear end suits this track. Okay, so the first of the biggest losers will have to be Lando and McLaren. The fact that these guys are still struggling with race consistency to win races is really hindering any chance Lando has to cover ground on Max in the championship. In race conditions, they should know to only ask for the driver's input with regards to tires only when it is to switch from wets to dries, and vice versa, and not to leave it to the drivers to pick softs or mediums as they don't have the full picture of the race, and that's what lost them the race. Now, to add salt into the wound, Piastri's pace in the final lap showed just that. Next on the chopping block will have to be Ferrari. Ever since Monaco, they have just been trying to find more ways to outdo how much worse they can do, especially when it comes to Leclerc's race strategies. Now, finally on the chopping block is Checo. The past couple of races, Checo has made it hard to justify him being in that seat, and if there is a clause in his new contract, sooner rather than later Horner is going to have to activate it because Verstappen cannot carry the team by himself all season. Now that is it for the British Grand Prix biggest winners and losers. For now, Formula 1 takes a short break, but we'll be back in Hungary, so don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Once again, thank you and bye for now.